What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Green Zone. It is our NFL Week 16 and college football playoff edition of the show. I'm going to try to be as quick as possible because for the first time since I was 9 years old, I get to watch my favorite college football team in a meaningful football game. So I'm going to try to head out and watch that game. So I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. We're going to be starting off in Washington with the Eagles at the Commanders. The Eagles are a 7.5 point favorite with the over under at 44.5. It's an Eagles game, so I'm betting the under. 2 weeks in a row, I've been encouraged by the Eagles offense schematically, but one game was filled with turnovers by the quarterback, and then the other game was against a god awful Raiders defense. So I'm not sure how much stock you can put into those two performances. Um, so I'm still kind of in wait and see mode when it comes to this Eagles offense. The Commanders might have the worst defense in the NFL, but they do have familiarity with this Eagles offense, being as they play each other twice a year in the same division, obviously. And the Commanders offense has been decent with Mariota, but Laramie Tunsil is going to be out in this one for the Commanders, which is a huge loss for this Commanders offense. He's so important to them. So give me the under 44.5 in the Eagles and Commanders. Next game up is going to be the Packers at the Bears. The Bears are a 1.5 point favorite with the over under at 45.5. And I honestly am going to do nothing in this game. I wanted to bet the Bears. But with Roma Dunze and Luther Burden being ruled out, I don't like it as much. I do think the Bears are going to be able to have success on the ground running against this Packers defense, but just don't like it enough with the current situation that's going on. So it's going to be nothing for me in the Packers Bears. The next game up is going to be the Jets at the Saints. The Saints are a 6.5 point favorite with the over under at 40.5. Again, this is going to be nothing. The Saints have been very good to us the last couple of weeks, but that was as a dog. This is not that same type of situation. This is not only the Saints being a favorite, but this is the Saints being a favorite and having to win by margin. That's not a situation where I like to get involved in the Saints. And then on the other side, it's never the Jets for me. So it's just going to be nothing for me in Jets Saints. Next up is the Bills at the Browns. The Bills are a 10.5 point favorite with the over under at 41.5. It's really Bills or nothing for me in this one. I don't want to lay double digits with the Bills on the road, as we saw their offense kind of get off track when they had to go on the road this season. And the Browns defense is a pretty solid unit, especially at home. I know their offense is downright terrible, but it's going to be nothing for me in the Bills Browns. And the next game up is going to be the Chiefs at the Titans. The Chiefs are a 3 point favorite with the over under at 37.5. The Titans are the Titans, and then the Chiefs in this one are going to be without Patrick Mahomes, and then most likely Rashee Rice is going to be out as well. This should be an ugly game that I really don't want to have anything to do with. So yet again, it's going to be another pass for me. I promise we have pets coming up, but yeah, it's just been a bad run of passes for me. But the next one up is going to be the Chargers at the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a 1.5 point favorite with the over under at 50.5. I actually think the Cowboys are going to blow the Chargers out here. The Chargers O-line is just in shambles, and it hasn't hurt them against the Chiefs and the Eagles because the Eagles turned it over 5 times, and then the Chiefs just can't score. So the Chargers really didn't have to go out there and do much on offense to match them. That will not be the case against this Cowboys offense. The Chargers are going to have to score some points to stay within a number in this one, and I don't think they're capable of it in their current form with how their offensive line is. I like the Cowboys big here. Give me the Cowboys laying the 1.5. Next game up is going to be the Vikings at the Giants. The Vikings are a 2.5 point favorite with the over under at 43.5. Again, this is another game where I have nothing on it. I don't trust either team. Vikings dealing with some injuries on their O-line. That was my initial look, but with those injury concerns, it's going to be a cold stay away from me here. So moving on, the next game up is going to be the Buccaneers at the Panthers. The Buccaneers are a 3 point favorite with the over-under at 45.5. The Bucks don't really have a good pass rush off the edge. A lot of their pass rush comes from the interior with Vita Vea. So I don't think the injury concerns for the Panthers are really going to affect them in this one at the offensive tackle position. The Panthers should be able to run the ball effectively, and their wide receivers are going to have space to make plays as well. The Bucks offense just isn't right, and it hasn't been right for weeks. And I've been saying for weeks that I think it's obvious that Baker is playing hurt. But that being said, with all that, I don't see a 3 point difference between these two teams. We faded the Panthers back-to-back weeks, and it worked out for us. But in this spot here, I'm going to go ahead and back the Panthers plus the 3 against the Bucks. Now, the next game up is going to be the Bengals at the Dolphins. The Bengals are a 4.5-point favorite with the over-under at 47.5. Seventh round rookie Quinn Ewers is going to be getting the start for the Dolphins in this one. And at first glance, yes, a rookie to a rookie is probably a downgrade. But this Dolphins offense has really been limited with Tua. He hasn't been able to. There's been no downfield passing attack. They haven't been able to stretch the field, and I do think Ewers will at least bring that element, which could open up other stuff in this Dolphins offense. I also don't think Ewers is going to be asked to do too much in this one. The Bengals can't stop the run at all. Devon Achane should go crazy in this one on the ground. I just think this number was at 1, and now it's open to 4.5. With the quarterback news from Tua to Ewers, I think that's an overreaction. And I'll take the 4.5 here with the Dolphins against the Bengals. Next game up is going to be the Jaguars at the Broncos. The Broncos are a 3.5-point favorite with the over-under at 47.5. The Jags offense has really unlocked since they got Jacoby Myers from the Raiders, mainly in their downfield passing attack, stretching the field. The Broncos D is good, but they can't get pressure on the quarterback without sending the blitz. That's going to leave their corners one-on-one downfield, and teams have taken advantage of that, especially against Riley Moss. As I said last week, teams are targeting Riley Moss deep in coverage, and it's more than not, it has worked out where whether they get a big catch or he gets called for a PI. And I also think the Broncos are going to be able to score in this one as well. They're going to be able to attack the Jags secondary, and Nick shouldn't be pressured at all. He's going to have all day to scan the field and hit some big plays of his own. I think this game is going to be a little bit of a shootout here. So give me the over 47.5 in the Jaguars Broncos. The next game up is the Falcons at the Cardinals. The Falcons are a 3-point favorite with the over under at 48.5. It feels like it's an every week thing, but this Cardinals injury report is an absolute disaster. They're not going to be able to stop the run. Bijan Robinson is going to have a great game again in this one. And then also Cousins has kind of unlocked Kyle Pitts in this offense, and the Falcons are going to be able to get Drake London back in this one as well. I just think this total, this spread is too low. So I'm going to go ahead and lay the 3 here with the Falcons. Next game up is going to be the Raiders at the Texans. The Texans are a 14.5-point favorite with the over-under at 38.7.5. I'm going to personally have nothing in this game, but it would be the Texans or nothing in this one. How did the Raiders score? We just saw them get shut out against the Eagles. I think the Texans are a better defense than the Eagles. But I just laying 14.5 points is just not something that I usually like to do in the NFL. So it's going to be a pass for me here, but it would be the Texans or nothing. If you want to back this Raiders team, then more power to you, and you have more guts than I do. Next game up is the Steelers at the Ravens. Steelers at the Lions. I'm sorry. The Lions are a 7-point favorite with the over-under at 52.5. The Steelers are dealing with a multitude of injuries on their lines and at linebacker, and the Steelers passing attack is not the type of unit that's going to be able to take advantage of the injuries in this line. Secondary, Jahmyr Gibbs should have a big game in this one against the Steelers run defense, and this number looks inflated with the Lions out to a 7-point favorite, but it's inflated for a reason. I'm going to go ahead and lay the 7 here with the Lions against the Steelers. And then the Sunday night football game will be the Patriots at the Ravens. The Ravens are a 3-point favorite with the over-under at 49.5. I really wanted to play the over in this game, but there has been so many people listed as questionable on both of these teams' injury reports. It's just too much uncertainty that I want to get involved in. Maybe if we get a cleaner injury report throughout the day tomorrow, then I might go ahead and pull the trigger on one of these. But nothing right now on the Ravens Patriots. And then Monday Night Football, again, same thing. Colts, I'm assuming are going to stick with Phillip Rivers, but there has not been a real determination for a certain thing. So too much uncertainty in the Colts 49ers. I'm leaning towards laying it with the 49ers. But that being said, I want to wait till Monday to get more clarity on how this game looks. And now I'm going to go ahead and scroll. If you missed the show earlier, again, if you want my analysis, you can go back and listen on YouTube. Games are always the show is always available in my breakdown for every game as well. But I'm going to go ahead and have the red hot lock scrolling across the bottom of the screen here. As you can see, if you missed any of them or you just want to write them down, The Red Hot Locks this week are the Eagles Commanders under 44.5 for a half unit. The Cowboys -1.5 for 2 units. The Panthers +3 for a half unit. The Dolphins +4.5 for a half unit. The Jaguars Broncos over 47.5 for a half unit. The Falcons -3 for a full unit. And then the Lions -7 for a full unit. And then I'm going to go ahead and let them scroll through one more time in case anybody missed them. And then we will move on. I do have NFL parlay of the day as always, and then I do have 2 plays in college football for the college football playoffs this week as well. But I'm going to let the Red Hot Locks finish scrolling in case anybody missed them and want to go ahead and jot them down. Now, real quick, we will hit the NFL parlay of the day this week. It's as always, it's going to be 3 legs. It's going to be 1 unit, and this week it pays 547. And it's going to be the Cowboys -1.5 against the Chargers, the Falcons -3 against the Cardinals, and then the Lions -7 against the Steelers. Again, 3 legs, 1 unit plus 547, and they are scrolling across the bottom of the screen there. Now I'm going to move on to the college football playoff picks for today. 2 of them, both in the college football FBS level. The first one is going to be the Miami Texas A&M first half under 24.5 for a full unit. This Miami defense has been great in the first half. They are 3rd in the country in defensive scoring, and they only allow 4.8 points in the first half this season. Texas A&M on the other side also starts slow offensively. This will be an incredible trench matchup. Both of these offensive lines and defensive lines are some of the best in the country, arguably the best in the country, matching up here. So I think that's really going to limit the explosiveness out of these 2 offenses. So I do expect both of these teams to be run heavy, as wind is supposed to be a factor in the downfield passing attack today. And if the game opens up, I expect it to be later in the game after the filling out process happens. So I'm going to take the under 24.5 in the first half in Miami and Texas A&M. And then in the later game, I'm going to lay the 17.5 with Ole Miss against Tulane for 2 units. It's hard to use motivation as a big factor because it's the playoffs, so everyone should be motivated to win. But I really think Ole Miss is going to be extra juiced up in this one. Lane Kiffin bailing, and then the players called him out on X. And they're getting to host a playoff game coming off the greatest season in program history. This environment in Oxford, Mississippi is going to be insane. The defensive coordinator, Pete Golding, is now the head coach for Ole Miss. And then the offensive coordinator, Charlie Weiss, has stayed on as the play caller. So schematically, this team should not look that different. And he is going to go to LSU with Lane Kiffin once the Ole Miss season is complete. And then Ole Miss quarterback Trinidad Chambliss has been so good this year. He doesn't make mistakes. He has a 1.8% turnover-worthy play rate. Then he blew the doors off Tulane. They played earlier in the year. Tulane didn't even reach the end zone until it was garbage time, and Ole Miss had everyone out of the game. And I'm not expecting this game to be any different. I think Ole Miss is going to win this one by 30 plus, maybe even 40 plus. So I'm going to go ahead and put 2 units on Ole Miss -17.5 today. And that's all I got. As always, bet responsibly. Best of luck, and I'll talk to you next week.